I'm one of those people who buy new shoes and then never wants to wear them because I don't want to ruin them, you know what I mean? Today's the day I'm going to soldier on through the blisters in order to break them in. I think they are a bit loose, to be fair. I should need to tighten them up. But gotta start wearing your new shoes, Jimmy. Jesus, this one's like a year and a half old. I trekked in the countryside in them shoes. Toes were brown, not black, because they'd been so badly scuffed. God damn it. Anyway, we're wandering into work today. I wanted to park further away so that I could walk. I need to leave earlier, but it was bin day and I forgot to take the bins out. And that's because I woke up early this morning, woke up at midnight, did 3.5 hours worth of work. Got to work every hour God gives. And therefore I'm napping at lunchtime, which means I'm not going to be able to get a walk at lunchtime. So I need to keep fresh, you know, keep fresh air in my lungs. There is... What's going on today? Doesn't matter, it's going to be a big day. I think we're going to release a load of shit. It's going to be a big day in general. But what I am doing is I'm trying to focus on actually making good videos. Or at least trying to. It's been one of those days today where I've just been feeling like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold all day. And now like I've kind of, towards the end of the day it started to pass. I'm like, is this the air? You know when you're like, am I ill, or is this the air conditioning just like going fucking crazy? So we've sorted out, now I've basically got one less thing to do on this project, and it's a bitch. I'm trying to figure out how I could do it, because effectively the requirement is add a restriction that we never had before. And I'm like, this wasn't designed with this restriction in mind at all. So like previously, you had X amount of whatever this thing is, doesn't really matter, on your account. Now you can only have 2 per X on your account. And technically you can have 1, but if you update 1, then I need to create a second one. It's fucking wild, but it's because of a bug that's come up. And I'm like, I don't really know how to do this in a reasonable way. That's why I'm racking my brain trying to figure out right now. 2 somewhat sketchy naps on my first day. Napping. Got a bit of sleep in, but not a crazy amount of sleep, so that's good. Especially lunchtime as well today. I had a nap. I had a meeting at 12:30. And I normally have my nap at about like 12:15, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to smash this in early. And I put my head down to sleep at 12 o'clock. Woke up at 12:30 and I was in that meeting for 1 minute past. Not in the business of pissing about, boys. No siree. So, I was quite proud of that, to be honest with you. I smashed it, mate. Smashed it. Right, let's get the oven on, wait for Laura. Got the shopping yesterday, so tonight is going to be a worky night as well. Lots more programming to do. Lots of work to do, boys. And a bit of admin to do as well, you know how it goes. God damn, I can't get this bloody... I've written the code for the query. At least the top level. I haven't done the actual query and the data out of the database, but I just did the basic stuff. And I can't get it to register the types properly. It knows what the type is, which is the weird thing. No matter what. Abstract type, pageable. One, it's not abstract. What are you talking about? I basically ran it, and I was like, I'll just run it just to see if it works. And I was originally having problems because effectively what I've got is a generic. I wanted to register a generic type without having to implement an interface, an instance of every generic type I had. Because that's a pain in the booty. I think that might actually solve the problem, but I'm fucking done. I effectively need this twice, because I'm gonna have, well, not twice. One of it is on the actual graph, but this is a query to get additional ones that aren't on the original graph. I think that makes sense. I'm new to this GraphQL stuff, but it's bloody confusing, man. And that there isn't that much docs or support for it in C# world either. Solved my problem. It wasn't in the way that I wanted to solve it, but I solved it. Woke up last night and sorted it out, and I sorted have to use interfaces instead of object graph types. It's a bit of a bitch, but I'm pretty confident you should be able to do it the other way, but I can't figure it out, and I'm not spending more than 4 hours on it than I already have done, you know. Otherwise I need to stop this little thing I've got going on where I roll over, my alarm goes off, I roll over, hit it, and I go, oh, okay, I'm awake. I'm just gonna like nestle in and get a bit warm, and then I'll get up. You always fall back to sleep, no matter how awake you feel. You fall back to sleep. I need to stop doing it. I just need to alarm, bang, get out of bed, fuck your snoozers, I'm out of bed, I'm walking, I'm doing my thing. So that's But that's what I need to do, because last night my alarm went off. Went to bed a little bit later than normal, because we were watching something on TV. So what I did, instead of setting my alarm for midnight midnight, was I just set an hour-and-a-half alarm. It went off at the right time, and I thought I missed it because it was a different time to normal, and I was like, should I get up? No, I should get up. Let me just stay a little bit warm. Fell asleep. My next alarm went off. I'm like, no, I should definitely get up. Fell asleep again, and then I woke up an hour later, so 2:30. Like, kind of proud of myself, but also kind of not. Also, just want to say, since moving to our new house and moving to this job, I'm excellent at parallel parking. I am in Bristol again after work today, as we are going to another meetup thing about being I think it's stories from a dev lead or something like that, which will be interesting. But I just met up with, I'm actually really late because it starts at past, and I met up with someone else who's doing something at past, but his is like a cinema appointment, which is much more like time important than mine. So I'm like, let's go near your cinema, and then I'll walk across, and then I don't have to do as much socialising. He's another person who used to work at the place I just left, and he is the guy who basically lives like 2 streets away from me, and yet we come all the way down to the city centre to meet. Love catching up with people like that. I've got so many good friends from that place, you know? Yeah, he was like my partner in crime to a certain extent. But I'm now pacing it across Bristol to get to this place, hopefully get some free pizza. You never know. Also, someone else from that old work is going to this meetup, and I've never seen him go there before. And I feel like he might be going because I'm going. So I have a feeling I'm going to be late home. But yeah, he never goes to these things, and last time I spoke to him I was drunk, but we were talking a lot about Varialis, Rad Spider, and I think he's interested in that kind of thing. Maybe 100% off about that, a little bit self-centered, but if I was a betting man, I'd put a $5 down, you know? But yeah, we just had a chat over like a coffee about how his new job, hot chocolate, about how his new job is, about how my new job is, about our plans and whatnot. So yeah, really fucking like that guy. What an absolute lad. And he sometimes watches this video. Hey Dibs. So it's interesting though, because we were both kind of in the same position. He was probably a bit ahead of me, where we last were. But we've kind of gone 2 different paths. He's gone somewhere else and kind of wants to kind of chill out for a bit, effectively, and not like hoover everything up and take control of everything like he did in the last place. Whereas I want to hoover more up. So it's an interesting kind of like split. But he's got a baby now, so different. I'm sure I'd do the same. So it's also a little bit rainy. I love this light as well, by the way. This like kind of bluey, should be dark but kind of isn't light, you know? Holy shit, man. If Netflix want you to watch something, they make it very fucking difficult to forget it exists, don't they? Oh, camera just did a really weird beepy thing at me then. That was interesting. Yeah, Netflix. Insane amount of marketing budget. They can just fucking make you watch anything. I haven't had anything to eat yet, so I'm absolutely freaking starving. I was partially right. He was there. I didn't see it because you have to like tick your name on the way in, and he didn't tick his name. But yeah, so he had to shoot off because it overran by a really long way. Again, as I was reminiscing earlier, I made a lot of really good friends in my old place, and I'm trying my hardest to try and keep in touch with everyone. I'm trying to figure out whether to get some food in town or go home and get beans on toast. I'm thinking about getting beans on toast because I've already paid for the beans and the bread. And money, man. Fuck off. It's up there as well, it's fucking following me, my day. Pretty interesting day at work today. It was spent being basically entirely theoretical. We put something live that I've been working on, and we were setting up getting the other one so it's test ready, and it's been like tested on my machine for a while, but we need to make sure the deployment pipeline exists for it before we can start testing it properly in its proper integration environments. While I was doing that, I was looking at how to do this thing that we're working on, and I'm like, I thought I'd be able to do it one way, wasn't able to do it that way, spec'd out another way, and it's interesting because it's my first real opportunity to re-architect some microservices to make it better and the way it should be, and it's like a good proof of concept to start ripping it out, and I'll be fixing a pretty important bug and doing it better, and a good proof of concept for how it would work when we destroy one of the microservices and bleed its data into the other microservices. The short story is we have an address microservice, which is like rookie mistake number 1, because you've defined a microservice around a noun and not a verb. So anything that requires addresses now relies on your microservices, and you don't have microservices. What you actually have is a nicely decoupled distributed monolith. So I'm trying to pull in the some of those addresses into this microservice that needs them, so that it doesn't have to keep going off to them, and then also correlation becomes a lot easier. And that microservice, I've obviously got two types of addresses, shipping and billing. I move billing into the payments microservice, and then the other one becomes basically a shipping address microservice, which does mean it's tightly coupled to everything that requires it for shipping, but eventually I'll just do exactly what I did to that microservice as I did billing, and then we'll laugh it. Oh, I could just have some Wagamama's. I woke up this morning with a surprising amount of energy, considering that I didn't have a nap yesterday. I only had my morning nap, afternoon nap. I'm doing the 2 1.5 hour chunk ones. I've come downstairs for a cup of tea. The problem with 2 1.5 hour chunks is, like, programming in for 3.5 hours straight is a really freaking long time. I come downstairs to grab a tea to, like, kind of break up the day. It's stewing, and now I'm going to go back upstairs. I'm currently working on validation in my GraphQL query. This is the first query that's actually taken any serious parameters to it. So I'm just doing validation on inputs. I'm using my fucking domain validation mapper in order to do the validation in the domain layer. But I'm going to see, so I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to time box a couple of hours to figure out if I can implement a framework, because there isn't one natively for argument validation. So that's my plan there, and I can either do it with types, so I can have an argument type, or I can do it with some kind of metadata. The metadata one may be more extensible. But yes, I'm seeing, because I've got to write, so I'm just currently writing a validator that can validate whether or not something is base 64 encoded, and I'm doing that now. And I had a couple of them floating about, and I've realised that they're not all as good as they should be. So yeah, I'm just whacking in those things and writing some tests to make sure it's all nice and Gucci. Then I'll do the domain validation, and then I can time box this exploration into GraphQL stuff. And failing that, then I can just kick back. So this will give me what I'm currently doing at the moment, the domain stuff, will give me a nice generic error. It will just give me an error with a nicely detailed message with all the right information in it. If I can pull off argument validation, then the argument errors will be in the right place, and then we can roll from there. So it'll be in the correct format, it'll be all proper GraphQL compliant, and all that Gucci stuff. I'm not really sure why, but I've been really struggling to get into work when I used to. I used to be able to get to the park and ride for 8 o'clock, and it's 10 past 8, and I'm still not there. I'm still struggling, which means I've been parking closer over the past couple of days. I really don't know what I'm doing differently. I'm waking up at the same times, roughly. Might be 10 minutes in it, maybe. But yeah, I just don't understand. Also, trying out my new shoes. I've been wearing in my black office shoes. I'm wearing in my Converse as well. They're different to my old Converse because they have a different sole in them. They feel quite big, but my black shoes felt a bit big until I wore them for 2 days. So we'll see. We'll see how they go. Hopefully they're not too big, because I bought 2 pairs. Start wearing some thicker socks or some shit. But yeah, so I'm wearing these in, and I'm on the drive in. I'm living the dream, boys. Started proof of concepting the GraphQL validation stuff, just to make sure it actually does work differently. I'm pretty confident it does, but they're difficult to find tutorials for this kind of stuff. The problem with GraphQL is it's very JavaScript based. There's loads and loads of shit for JavaScript. There isn't really that much for .NET, which is the world I'm in, obviously, and I'm struggling, therefore, to really, you know what I mean, boys? There's a lot of activity. It's at that point where there's a lot of activity in the NuGet package and the GitHub repo, but everyone is still kind of going off in the same direction. It's not really solid. It's not really been stabilized. There's still weird caveats and documentation holes and all that kind of stuff, which is fun to navigate around, but a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm just trying to prove that it is actually different before I go ham on it. But it's good. It's interesting. I am spending a lot of time doing programming rather than anything else, but it's working out for me so far. So shoes feel fucking huge, mate. What the heck? Parking, so I could still walk in from a long way away, but then I don't get back for a certain time, and I'm napping in the evenings, so I need to make sure I get back around 5-ish. Maybe I just need to tie them a bit more. I think it's because the sole isn't as high, if that makes sense. There's a lot more room like at the top. I have quite like long flat feet, to be honest with you, is why I wear Converse. They're like one of the few pairs of trainers that actually like fit. I can't figure out why I feel so wired. I didn't really sleep at I woke up this morning, if you remember me saying, my alarm went off and I was like wide fucking awake. There was no way I was going to drift off back to sleep. I woke up after my second sleep, 2 sleeps, 2 naps a day. That because I'm doing the 1.5 hour 1.5 hour 30 minute thing, and that one I always wake up after that I'm knackered. That is the like most. That's the hardest sleep to wake up from. Easy, no problem. But napped at lunchtime, barely got to sleep. I think I got to sleep a bit, so I got tiny, like 5 minutes here and there. And now I'm still like wired. I don't think I'm going to sleep when I get back either. So I don't really know. I don't know what's going on. About to head to bed. It's the end of a Wednesday, so end of the 3rd day of the week, and I've done 12 hours programming. Dang. On top of like, you know, my job. We are back on it, boys. We're back on fire. I'm enjoying it. Just got to keep up there, waking up, you know. So I woke up after my evening lunch, did a load of programming, and then Laura came home. Laura was at like a work social thing, and so I did a load of programming, and then we had some dinner. I played Xbox with the boys. Still got to try and keep it somewhat varied, because I'm spending a lot of my time programming and not doing anything else at the moment, but I'm trying my best. I'm feeling productive. The only problem is that Laura has got a cold and feels ill and went to bed early, and there's one thing you don't want when you're doing my sleeping thing is feeling ill, because the only way to fix feeling ill is sleep. And not my type of sleep. So right, bedtime, because I've got to get up in an hour and a half. I wasn't planning on walking all the way in today, but I drove the other way in, where I go past the park and ride, and it was like 2 minutes past, and I'm like, I can park up here and walk in and get in for the same time I got in like yesterday. So yeah, I'll get home a little bit later, but I get a nice walk, and that's good. Fresh air, man. I had a feeling I was giving it the kiss of death yesterday when I was talking about how awake I was. So it turns out that my inability to nap in the evening and in the afternoon nuked me. I don't really remember my alarm going off. I vaguely remember thinking that I couldn't do something because the police were here and we were being investigated for like embezzlement or fraud or money laundering or something like that. And to clarify, I'm not doing any of those things in any capacity. But yeah, so I seem to vaguely remember that, but I don't know whether that was a dream or a dream I was having when my alarms went off. I don't know. So yeah, either way, I didn't wake up last night. I'm going to try and stay on the naps today to try not fall out of sync. Just got to keep working. It's just determination. You just got to keep trying. Really looking forward to today. We should have something past test, which should be a good thing. But then I think I need to just like bust some balls to get it into live. It's taken me so long to get the VMs and stuff set up to run it in beta, sorry, and I just like really just don't. I'm not looking forward to having the same fights again to get it into live, but hey ho. And amongst all that, I need to do a load of database migration and stuff, and just sit down and do some programming. Although we should be a bit light on the ground today. I don't think that many people are in the team, so maybe I will get an opportunity to do that. I don't know. Discipline, that's what it is. It's discipline, determination, and working every hour that God gives, and only taking a break where it becomes more productive to take a break than not. I managed to do a good job with my napping, which I was quite proud of, considering I had such a well, obviously I slept over last night. Did a semi-alright job napping both times, much better than you would expect for someone who rested the entire night. But today has been a pretty good day. We smashed through a load of testing with the tester. She's quite quiet, is the tester. I'm trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to like drag her out of the show and stuff. But we're talking about like holidays and skiing. She's been skiing and all that kind of shit. It's by the way. But yeah, sort of like a load of testing with her. Did a load of programming to reroute what we're doing with addresses. I sorted out the databases and then put it through, and then realised I wanted it ever slightly different, and then I just kind of fucked it. And I've like fucked it up a little bit, and I'm not really sure how to fix it. So that's fun. came home, had a nap, had some dinner, and I have just finished off I've just got one mapper left to do to get my GraphQL thing sorted. I haven't done the argument mapping validation. I'm going to do that tonight. That's my plan. Also done a little bit more outreach, contacting pimps in the crib, to see if anyone is willing to give feedback, I guess. And yeah, otherwise I'm going to end the video here, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a late one. Also, we got an Amazon delivery today, and it said it was delivered, but they didn't put like a slip through the door, and I literally rung Amazon. Well, you get them to ring you, and they're like, oh, it says here that it was delivered at like a different number. I'm like, well, why did you leave me a slip? So I went down the street and got it, but damn.